A gunman shot dead on Tuesday in Brussels following a raid linked to investigations into the Paris attacks has been identified as Mohamed Belkaid, a 35-year-old Algerian living illegally in Belgium. The prosecutor's office spokesman said authorities were also holding two men, one who had been admitted to a hospital near Brussels with a broken leg and was still assessing whether they were connected to the shooting. A police sniper shot dead the Algerian who had an assault rifle after 4 officers were wounded on Tuesday during what investigators had expected to be a routine search of an apartment in the south of the Belgian capital.
One suspect was neutralized by a sniper of the special forces when he tried to open fire towards the police from a window of the flat where he was hiding. His body was found in the flat during the subsequent house search. Next to the body was a Kalashnikov, as well as a book on Salafism. Also, a flag of ISIS, Daesh, was found in the flat, as well as 11 loaders from Kalashnikovs and innumerable shell casings. No explosives were found.
For more on these developments, joining us live from Brussels is CCTV's Jack Parrock. Jack, what more can you tell us about the Algerian man identified as the gunman?
So we know he is 35-year-old Mohamed Belkaid. He's an Algerian national, and we also know that he was not legal to be living in Belgium. We don't know how long he had been in the country for. We know he was shot by a police marksman during the raids, and that his gunfire had allowed 2 other men covering gunfire to escape the apartment that had been under siege for a number of hours after this raid by Belgian security forces as part of a counter-terror operation.
So authorities then maintain that there still remains an active threat. What more do we know about that?
Well, indeed. So police following this raid had detained 2 extra people. This was a saga that went on throughout the night yesterday, but we've actually now heard that the 2 men that they had arrested have actually now been released. The manhunt is still ongoing for 2 people that were in this apartment. That was part of the siege, so there's a major operation. Our team has just been down to the site in the Forêt area of the city of Brussels, and around there isn't too much of a police operation. You can get relatively close to the property where the siege took place, but the operation is still ongoing. There's a large police presence across the city as they hunt for 2 more men.
Now, there have been concerns over possible militants making their way into Europe disguised as refugees from Syria and Iraq. Should we expect this latest development to turn the spotlight onto African migrants?
So obviously these counter-terror raids were linked to the Paris attacks back on November the 13th. They killed 130 people in the French capital, and they were orchestrated out of Brussels. And in the wake of those attacks, there were Islamophobic incidents and a marked rise in those incidents following the attacks. But it's important to note that a number of the people involved in the Paris attacks were of North African origin, and it's tended to be seen that the Islamophobic incidents have been against the Muslim population as a whole, and not specifically against North African citizens. But having said that, there are major concerns as there's this huge influx of refugees and migrants into the European Union, of militants coming in those flows, and certainly the events of yesterday and today will probably only add to that. The authorities will clearly want to downplay any tensions within the society here in Belgium.
All right, Jack Parrock live for us in Brussels. Thank you, Jack.